let alone a place that's far from you. Back homian issues. Back home they started. Yeah, but that's got nothing to do with here though. We've got to cite it here. We've been told by Ikrimah and others that every land has its sighting. Ikrimah ibn Abi Jahl is one of the major companions. We have to follow what the companions have given us. The new moon, the crescent moon. Some people will say, you can't cite the crescent moon because the new moon is only so many hours old. Went out there, cited it, brought back the pictures. What do you think it is? We don't care about that. We're worried about one thing. The new moon is where the moon has no illumination on it. Wonderful. Now, we need to look for the crescent moon the day after that because that's when illumination is going to start to occur on the moon. We're going to start to be able to see light. I've seen the moon. You think from the pictures I showed you, those pictures from the city center near Market Square, that's thin? I've seen thinner than that. I've seen thinner than that. I've seen record thinness moons that are thinner than that look like a thumbnail. Thin. But again, it's not impossible. Basic principles to learn. When the horizon is covered by clouds and we don't know if the moon is there, then what? The horizon is covered by clouds. SubhanAllah, we've looked for it. It's the 29th of Sha'ban. Now what do? Shaykh al-Islam Mansur al-Buhuti, he says, the issue of the day of doubt, quote, the issue of the day of doubt is not one to be fasted in, as this has been forbidden. The only way someone would be allowed to do so would be if on sunset of the 29th of Sha'ban, the sky was overcast due to massive smoke, one of the 6 signs that took place, for example, eclipse or interval where it was impossible to sight under normal circumstances. Then someone would fast on sunset on the 29th of Sha'ban, intending it as Ramadan. Thus, if one wakes up and on the 29th of Sha'ban after sunset, the moon is sighted, then he would fast. But if it's not sighted, then this would depend. If the sky was clear, the crescent was not sighted, on the sunset of the 29th of Sha'ban, he would not intend fasting, as it is the 30th of Sha'ban. If the moon was obscured due to heavy clouding, eclipse, massive smoke, or the like, then that person would fast intending Ramadan, as it was outside of their control. And the hadith about calculation would be understood by them to mean to make it 29, due to the overcast or uncontrollable nature of it. This is the understanding that was held by Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, his teachers the Basrins, and figures of Kufa and other places such as Omar, Abdullah ibn Omar, Amr ibn al-As, Abu Huraira, Aisha, and her sister Asma. Ar-Rawd al-Murbi', pages 187 to 188. So we see from here then that the only time when you're looking at it, this is actually a ruling that is peculiar to the Hanbali school. It's peculiar. If the scholars of the Hanbali school say that the horizon has been obscured by clouding, smoke, eclipse, we don't know. But what we'll do is we'll fast just in case it's there. And if it's not, no harm's been done, because it's halal to fast in Sha'ban. And the prohibition against doing so is only makruh. But if it was, alhamdulillah, we're fine anyway. That's peculiar to the Hanbali school and none of the other schools. That's the only time you would use that hadith calculating in a different way. So, as I said, it's a peculiar ruling to the Hanbali madhab. All right? And there would be no point highlighting and going into all the details on why that is and the dispute around it. What happens when different countries share the same time zone? Morocco and the UK. Different countries share the same time zone. Can we borrow from them when they've seen it? Imam Alauddin al-Mardawi, rahimahullah, another marja, he was from the generation of the last of the mujtahidun al-murajjihun. This era was the last of them. He says, quote, when the people of a land have seen the moon, it is necessary for all the people to fast. There is no difference of opinion in the necessity to fast according to the one who saw the moon. As for the one who did not see it, if the horizons are in the same zone of sunrise, then it's necessary for them to fast if there are 2 lands. and they are near to one another, and they are not two different horizons. This would include Baghdad and Basra. Both peoples in these two cities would fast if the moon was sighted in either place. However, if there was a long distance between them, like the case of Al-Hajj or Iraq or Sham, then every land has its sighting. It was narrated from Ikrimah ibn Abi Jahl, who said, every land has its sighting. Close quote. Al-Insaf في معرفة الراجح من الخلاف على مذهب الإمام أحمد بن حنبل, volume 7, pages 335 to 338. So here we see there's two places that are close. So my position, the position of Lote is we've been watching the Moroccans for so much time sighting the moon in our sightings, and their fuqaha and our sightings have coincided. So when they see it, we take by their position. For Ramadan, Rabi' al-Awwal, they're on the exact same time zone. And how much better can you get, because the people that are sighting the moon, they're fuqaha and qadis. Muraja', sighting the moon. That's the best way. So if they say we've seen it, and I say, well, I didn't, I take by their position. And that's the position that we advocate, is to take the local sighting, and when there's a beled that shares the same horizon, sunrise, sunset, it's on the same time zone as yours, then you say, alhamdulillah. If I don't see it and they saw it, it's binding on us. So we take by the ruling of Imam al-Mardawi, rahimahullah. Okay? Let's return to the sunnah. Sighting the moon for your locale. How do we do that? Let's start a practical example. Today is the 14th of Rajab. The 29th of Rajab occurs on the Kafir calendar on the 2nd of July, 2011. 2nd of July, 2011. After the sun has gone under the horizon, the full disk has gone under the horizon, that will be time for Maghrib. Pray Maghrib. After you finish praying Maghrib and doing the associated nafil with them, you'll need to watch the place where the sun has gone down, and diagonally above where the sun was, where it set, you'll look for the moon. It will take you 20 minutes. If it's there, if it is there, and Allah has ruled you to see it and it's a clear sky, you will see the moon for Sha'ban. If it's not, or it's cloudy, then you won't. We will check with the Moroccans. We'll check with the ulama. If they didn't see it, we have seen it. They're fuqaha, they're qadis, it's their job to do that. If they saw it and we didn't, cloud cover, other things like that, we can take it on. Because they're the same matla, the same zone, the same balad as we are. Okay? That's how easy it is. In pure worship, Islam is for the layman. This is knowledge that you need to know. Someone can't take that knowledge from you. You need this knowledge. There are 10 people in this city that, along with me, I'm not the only one, there are 10 people that sight the moon. Old people, young people, and they call me every time because they've started taking it as well. I didn't bring my record books for a sighting. I've got record books as thick as my middle and index finger together of my yearbooks together from 2007. Thick. With sightings, telling you it was at this degrees, it was at this west, north, it was at this and that, this and that. The moon appeared this, it was hazy. I've got files on my computer from the days that I did the sighting. They're undisputable, because I've intentionally tried to get one of the famous buildings of this city in it so someone can see, oh, he's definitely not faking this. To make sure that it's there, to show you it can be done. A brother once doubted and said, oh no, this can't be done, everything else. And he saw it for the first time. He thought, this is the sunnah. And we were saying, this is what we've been telling you. Genius. Other countries that sight the crescent, Bahrain does. Morocco does. Qatar does. See, people are making it seem as if North Africa, especially the Malikis, they do. I don't understand, out of 48 majority Muslim countries, and the vast majority of them doing it, why we're having the Saudi or Backhomian syndrome. We're saying we've got to calculate. When the ulama and fuqaha are looking and finding it and seeing it. We can do it. What are we, because we live in a northern latitude, are our brains that constricted? Are we that stupid? Some of us come from countries where people stand on the roof of their country on the 9th of Sha'ban looking for the Ramadan moon. But we come here and say, this can't be seen here. And some of the places in England are on the same latitude of the countries that we've come from. It can't be seen. No. What? It can be seen. Look for it. There is no global panacea. If you bring a Khalifa, like Muawiyah or others, there were different ones. People were fasting on different days. Even though Muawiyah gave his command, and the command followed down, ulama mujtahids followed his command, there were other ulama mujtahids far from him that were under his khilafah that said, we didn't see it, so we can't. So even if you said, well, there was a khalifa, well, I mean, even from a practical standpoint, that's impossible unless you fold the earth in half and destroy all the time zones. It simply has to be the case that we do some local sighting. Next, find out from local observatory the next new moon and look for the crescent the day after. So, when I've told you that your next crescent moon, not your new moon, your crescent moon that you're looking for is on sunset on the 29th, on the 2nd of July on Saturday, right? That means the new moon before it, where there was no illumination, was on Friday the 1st of July. If anyone tells you, I saw it, they're lying. I love them. Pray behind them. Alhamdulillah, I love them. But they lie. Because there's no illumination on the moon. I had a brother come to me and tell me that they saw it. Yes, we saw it on this day, and it was the 27th. You're not even out of the month yet. So we have to return to this practice. When you see, and if you look, most of your yearbooks, when you can write in your journals, they actually have the new moons listed there for you. So the main work's been done. Because there's kuffar that need to know this information. Why? For trade routes, when they have ships that are going over the water, because the moon has an effect on the tides of the earth. So there are people that need to know this. At 12:54 in the morning, you hear the shipping forecast. And they use this bizarre language, but it's telling you the shipping and trade routes of the ships and what the waves are like and how things are functioning and everything. That's why. Because the moon affects the tides of the earth. Unbelievers need to know it. The Einstein Observatory, which is the main authoritative observatory for this country, the Einstein Observatory, they follow the moon. Naked eye sighting of the moon. People who aren't even Muslim. Scientists, naked eye sighting. Why? Because the effect that the moon is going to have on the human brain. Sometimes people go insane when there's a full moon. They start killing people. There's a lunar eclipse. They want to study what? Lunacy, which is coming from the root of lunar. They're studying lunatics. Lunacy. Lunatics. All these other things. It has importance because it has an effect on the tides of the earth. Effects on the brain waves. All these other things. Okay, so in closing all this off, I want to say this. The great bulk of Islam is easy. It can be done. It's not impossible. So, let us say, for the record, you're minding your own business, and on the 2nd of July, you see the moon. That means that the next time you're going to be looking for it, you're going to be hunting the moon down like anybody's business, because you're going to be looking for it on either the 31st or the 1st of July for Ramadan. So you can now start to get sort of a framework of 31st July or the 1st of August. You start to get a framework of when the months are. You can start to figure out when things are, rather than the waiting that goes and then 1 week before the sighting, there's the mad dash of the printing out of the timetables. Let's just get it right this first time. There are slaves of Allah who are starting to hate the coming of Ramadan and Eid because of the tribulation that it creates, because the wife's like, I'm not fasting on that day, I'm fasting on this day, I'm going with this masjid. And the husband says, I'm going on this masjid. Or the children fast different days to their parents. Because they're 19 and 20 years old, we're at college, we're doing on this day. Brothers come to you, when did you do the Eid? And you don't want to say because you know the problem is, oh, you did it on the wrong day. I won't do that. You did it on the wrong day. Your fasting's not accepted.